So today we're going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. It's actually been a while since I talked about this guy here. Mainly because Splatoon 3 came out and kind of took over my life, so it's kind of just been nothing but Splatoon. But Sonic Frontiers came out a couple of days ago, and I felt like I needed to talk about this game, so I'm just making a quick little unscripted video just spewing out my opinions on the game. So, what did I think? First, before I talk about the game, I'm going to talk about the confusing lead up to the game. And by that, I mean, I really didn't know if I should have been excited or scared. Of course, as a huge Sonic fan, I wanted to be excited, but I was also excited for Sonic Forces. I mean, extremely excited. And that game, worst Sonic game in my opinion, just saying. I'd rather play 06. And for Sonic Frontiers, gameplay went from looking like it needed more work to looking decent to looking really good to questionable when I saw them reusing level assets like Green Hill and literally reusing level design from games like Sonic Generations. I honestly didn't know what to think of the game. It got so bad to the point where I genuinely stopped caring about the game. Since Splatoon 3 was coming out, I was like, well, whatever if Sonic Frontiers is bad. I have Splatoon 3, I have my game of the year. And yeah, I just genuinely didn't know what to think about it. And then the game came out, and luckily for me, I got it 2 days early because I pre-ordered it from Best Buy, and FedEx decided to give it to me 2 days early, so that was a win for me. At least I wasn't those people that decided to leak it for clout and ruin the game for other people. Seriously, if you're one of those people, I strongly loathe you. Like, screw you. So after about 3 days of playing the game at the time of this recording, I can gladly say that we finally got ourselves a good Sonic game again. I'm really happy to say that. Like after all of that I just said about me being really skeptical about the game, I played it and I genuinely had a really good time. And to clarify, yes, I'm playing this game on Nintendo Switch. I remember a lot of people saying, oh, the Switch version is gonna run like trash, and people saying that the only way they can get Frontiers to run on Switch is by doing it right via cloud version and blah blah blah. The Switch version's fine. It's 720 30 FPS to me is not really that bad. It's actually quite good. The game still looks good, it runs good, it's a fun time in my opinion. If you're thinking about getting on Switch, go ahead. It doesn't look as good as PS5 and Xbox Series X and PC, obviously. Like, I feel like that's a no-brainer at this point. But yeah, it's a solid port. The controls are super solid, and running around the open field as Sonic is really fun, which is really good because I remember people being concerned thinking the world looked too empty and boring, which I can disagree with. I feel like there's a lot to do in these islands. Like, there's like rail grinds and little puzzles and stuff everywhere, and it just makes it feel a lot more fun. When it comes to combat, pulling off different combos as Sonic is actually really fun. As you progress, you'll be able to unlock new abilities and techniques for Sonic with the skill tree, which just makes the combat a lot more interesting. And when it comes to boss battles, let me just tell you, it's insane. There are times, however, where the game slows you down in order to progress with the story and makes you do these tedious missions, which are really boring, not gonna lie. There are some that are kind of fun, but there are a couple in particular that I'm thinking of. I'm not gonna mention it because I want this video to be spoiler free. But yeah, when you get to them, you will know. It's really bad. Cyberspace was also a mixed bag too. It was a cool concept for a special stage where you go through these boost type levels like Sonic Generations and Unleashed in order to get keys for the Chaos Emeralds. But at the same time, it's like the controls for Sonic, they work in the open world, but they don't really work in the linear cyberspace levels. Like, there was a couple of times where I died mainly because I just had no control over Sonic, and it just feels so weird and awkward. But other than that, cyberspace isn't horrible. It's actually pretty fun if you get used to the controls and master them. It's not peak boost formula of gameplay. That you can get that in something like Unleashed and Generations, especially Generations in my opinion. Generations is my favorite Sonic game. But yeah, it's pretty fun. It's a cool concept, like I said. As I mentioned before with the missions that you had to do in order to progress with the story, yeah, there's a story, and it's actually really good in my opinion. It's really interesting, and I feel like it's on par with something like Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic Unleashed. Sage is actually a really interesting character that I really want to learn more about. I didn't finish the game, so I don't know everything that happens, and I also don't want to go into detail because, like I said before, I want this video to be spoiler free. But yeah, I feel like they're going back to having ambition in their stories and not something like Forces where they marketed as, oh, we're gonna have a dark, serious story, and then we play the game, and it's just like, it's just very underwhelming. This game actually delivers with the story. It's probably not the best story, but to me, it's really interesting. But yeah, Sonic Frontiers is actually a really good game. I feel like it's on par with games like Unleashed and Generations, which is really good because those games came out in 2008 and 2011. And the last mainline Sonic game we had before Frontiers was Forces. And that game, you already know how I feel about that game. And after Forces, we went 5 years with nothing game-wise. I'm not counting the Olympic Games or Team Sonic Racing, because Olympic Games is still Olympic Games. That's also a Mario game, so it's not really fully a Sonic game. And Team Sonic Racing died on launch, so yeah. But 5 years later in 2022, I feel like Sonic is killing it right now, especially with the sequel to the movie, which was 10 times better than the original, which was already good. And then Sonic Origins introducing classic Sonic to an abundance of new fans generated from the movie. And we still got Sonic Prime to look forward to, which looks really cool. 2022 is truly Sonic's year, and it could continue like this, bringing Sonic back to his glory days if Sega can continue doing what they're doing now. Sega, if you're listening, don't do what you did from Sonic Generations to Lost World, throwing out a completely great playstyle that worked and replacing it with something completely boring and underwhelming. Sonic Frontiers proved that open world works for Sonic, and this was Sonic's first time in open world. Of course there's going to be issues. If you guys just take this and expand on it and make it better, we can get some amazing Sonic games in the future. So in conclusion, I'd give Sonic Frontiers a solid 8 out of 10, which is really satisfying to say after 5 years of nothing. After a very mediocre game, dare I say terrible game. I genuinely think Forces was terrible. Sonic is back, guys, and hopefully he'll stay. Sega, if you just pull the cards right, Sonic will be good. But if you don't, he'll be right back to where he was as a joke, and we don't want that. Trust me. Feel free to comment your experience with Sonic Frontiers below. I'm genuinely interested to see how other people view this game. And with that, thank you all for listening, and I'll catch you later. Peace. But yeah, I'm loving... What? Yo. I was recording something. This game is fucking lit, bro. I fucking love this shit. Got me mad hype, bro. I just had to call you. Just like get wait, so fire. So late, bro. Yo, I was bro, I was screaming the whole time, bro. My Switch album is just filled with Sonic Frontiers clips, bro. Bro, I've been clipping so much stuff. I'm like, yo, what am I playing right now? It's like a whole upgrade, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro.